Ready? What is up, guys? Welcome to Loveshack Entertainment, and today we're bringing you a deck profile video. Now, I should state before I start this video that it is a work in progress. This is not the finalized version of the deck, so please, before your hate-filled comments fill up the section below, as they are proudly welcomed, take that into consideration, that I will be doing an updated version of the build. The reason I'm putting it out here now is because I wanted to see if any of our subscribers, etc., those of you watching this video, had any suggestions to make it a little bit better. Let me go ahead and put the monsters out, and I'll talk about it just a bit. So, this is a Monarch deck profile, but it's not the standard Monarch. I'm trying something different. So, 3 Quickdraw Synchron, which I'll explain in a sec, 3 Ether, and 3 Erebus. So those are the 3 ups there. Now, why Quickdraw? So I know a lot of the Xyz Monarch variants are starting to play Quickdraw because of the combos you can do with Ultimaya Sulkin, as well as the fact that it's obviously a 5 you can overlay with Prime Monarch. Red Layer is another option. I just happen to like Quickdraw better because it combos well with stuff, which I'll show you in just a second. Obviously, Ether is just the card that makes the deck run no matter what variant you're playing, and it's amazing for that purpose. Erebus can get your Monarchs back from grave to hand, and it's just a really powerful non-targeting removal, so that's kind of standard. So for the 1-ups, I play 1 Stalos, which again isn't anything outlandish. Some people play it with Red Layer. Again, I'm not playing Red Layer in this deck, but obviously the Stalos works a lot better with it because you can get its additional effect off. Alright, so playing 1 Angmarl. So that's the first one I'll say is probably a little bit out there. So I'm sure most people know what it does. It's tribute summon, banish a spell from your graveyard, add a spell with the same name for your deck to your hand. So because I'm playing Tuning in this deck, this card's actually really good, and it lets you get your deck thin while searching stuff and being able to fuel plays. It can also search Twin Twisters and obviously your Monarch stuff, so I do like him as a 1-of. And then 1 Mechanical Hound. So I kind of forgot this card existed, and I remembered that people were playing around with it back in the days of Pendulums, when Pendulums first started, Magician started being a thing. I've noticed this a lot of times where my hand's empty, or at least close to empty, because of my discarding things, and Mechanical Hound is a really strong first-turn play against Pendulum decks. Because they can't play any spells, if they don't have a way to, like, you know, spam something with, I don't know, Goblinberg or whatever the hell they might be playing, I don't even know. It's really hard to get over, so it puts them in a good spot turn 1. There are obviously better options, but I just thought this was kind of an interesting idea, and I wanted to try it. So for now, I'm playing it, and it's worked out relatively well in testing so far. So like I said, I expect that to be the first one that people critique. And then 2 Edia and 2 Eidos. I go back and forth on this, obviously, because using their effects does hinder your ability to make extra deck plays. But turn 1, you do want to see them as often as possible, because it does let you get like an Ether or an Erebus and kind of get your graveyard filled up. Eidos is also really good, especially his first effect, where you can summon him and then tribute him, you know, get the additional summon off him. But it's more useful earlier game than it is late game. Although, again, I still think that's a relatively standard lineup, unless the decks are just kind of eliminating Edia in general. And then 1 Mithra, which is another really, really good card. The fact that it gives you the ability to special itself, and give you another tribute summon can really let you stack some effects, but of course it does clash with the extra deck thing you're going for there. 1 Jet Synchron, which is a tuning target, and I might bump this up actually because I really like it. Basically, it does all sorts of things. It makes it so the discard cost that you have for stuff like Quickdraw is alleviated. And then 1 Level Eater. So this card I love. Actually, I want to bump this up. The card is really good because it basically makes it easier for you to make plays. So just for a quick example, like if you have Quickdraw and Angmarl out, you can bring Angmarl down to a 5, summon Level Eater, and then go Ultimaya, which is just like a kind of a play that doesn't really net you much advantage, but just an example of some of the things you can do. But it also acts as tribute fodder, so if you special Quickdraw summon it, you can sack them both for a Monarch. And if you do discard this for Quickdraw, then you don't have to worry about that. So I really do want to bump this up. I think I'm going to do that, and it's a great, you know, if you get lucky and mill it off tuning, it's really good too. As for the spells, obviously, this is where it gets a little bit more standard. Triple Pantheism, cards busted. Triple Tenacity, thins the deck, searches, etc. 2 Twin Twister, which I really want to play 3. With cards like, with decks like Demise, Yosenju, and Cliffort running around, you lose hard to Solemn Strike and other things, so you want to get this as quickly as possible. Not to mention, discarding stuff like Level Eater with this and Jet Synchron actually don't hurt you all that much. 2 Monarch Stormforth, so this is the first one where people are gonna criticize me and say it absolutely has to be played at 3. In theory, you're not wrong. It's obviously a broken card, and it works really well with Ether. It was more of a space issue than anything else, but I also don't necessarily have to rely on it as much because I do have other options. But, I mean, I guess, you know, there's really no way to say it other than just I chose to play 2. It is a 3-of card in the majority of decks, and I understand the criticism that will come with that choice. But as it is right now, I do like it the way it is. 2 tuning, and the only reason I play 2 instead of 3 is because I only play 4 targets for it right now. So search a Synchron, mill a card, it's amazing. You can mill Erebus off of it, which, you know, then lets you discard stuff, get combos going. Anything that thins the deck in a deck like this is just awesome to see, so you want to see it as soon as you can. One, Frost Blast, it's another name, and it also acts as another way to get over that, you know, spell traps, etc., like sets against Yosenju and Demise. One, Instant Fusion. I do play Norden, just because if you do manage to resolve Norden, you can obviously tribute both for a tribute summon, but also use this for Panzer Dragon, because Panzer and Quickdraw make Cyber Dragon Nova, which obviously makes Infinity. One, Reasoning. Your levels they vary a bit, and if the opponent doesn't know what you're playing, or maybe think it's Cosmo, they're going to, you know, call 8. Obviously, that could hit your Monarchs, but then you have had random times where you drop, like, Mechanical Hound off this, and then, you know, you're in a neat spot because you got a 2800 beater that you can really set up your plays with. One, Foolish, because it is pretty much a Rhoda in the deck. One, Domain. Another name for Pantheism. I also was thinking about bumping this up, but obviously the extra deck effect isn't as useful. If I did bump it up, I'd play 2. And then Triple Prime, because it's amazing and like what makes the deck so good. It acts as an Avarice, but also with Sizulkin and as an overlay. So basically, Quickdraw is taking the place of Red Layer. One warning, just because I get Salt over things that are kind of hard to stop with this. Warning isn't a necessity in this deck, but it's definitely something I'm happy to see. So this is a player preference card for sure, but it's just not going to hurt you not to play it, I guess, is what I would say. But I would at least side it. The side deck is kind of non-existent right now because I'm still working on this idea. So for the extra, I got obviously Nova Infinity. Like I said, Quickdraw and Panzer make this easy. I just play the one Titanic Galaxy. There's not a lot of scenarios where I'm going to go into it, but at least if you have to, it's there. For the 5s, Durendal, really good card. It's a hand reset. It also can kind of save you from some of the spell and traps your opponents might play. Shark Fortress and Volcasaurus. Again, just a few other options. And then I said the one Norden and Panzer. I don't really use Norden all that often, obviously. Like, I want to go Panzer most of the time. I see that, but it's also, you know, not the worst card. But one Junk Destroyer. So I'm playing this. This is just sort of like a tech, and I thought it'd be a silly idea, but because Quickdraw and Level Leader and Eidos can make this, and all sorts of other different combinations of cards based on whether or not you modify levels. If you do manage to resolve it, you can actually pop a lot of cards, which is kind of cool. And I haven't done it often, but, you know, I don't go into the extra deck as much in this as, you know, you would in some other builds. So, and then one Scarlight, one Red Dragon Archfiend. This is only because I don't have a Stardust right now. Because I'm playing Sizulkin, I would probably play a Clearwing and a Stardust. I just don't have access to either. So imagine that's a Clearwing, and then realistically, because like I said, this is just kind of a tech, imagine that this is a Stardust or a Crystal Wing or something like that. Or Beals, whatever. Just, you know, cover all the bases. Jet Warrior. I really like this card. When it's summoned, it bounces a card on the field to its owner's hands. When you use this in conjunction with Level Leader, if you have a Jet Synchro in Grave, you can synchro with Prime Monarch, among other things. It's really cool. And it's also a 5, so if you do get it off, resolve its effect, and then you overlay with it, once it's in Grave, you contribute a tuner to bring it back to the field. So it's all in all a really, really cool card, and I like to see it. Nitro Warrior is one of the other ones I'm playing because you go Quickdraw and Eidos, or Quickdraw and other things. That's really just the reason that's in there, just to give me something that Quickdraw can actually go into if for some reason I can't overlay or don't have a prime, and then the one Black Rose because of Field Nuke. So that's the extra deck, and like I said, the deck is far from perfect. It's not done yet. It's just an interesting idea I'm working on because I don't really love Monarchs. The deck, I just don't find them fun to play, so I wanted to do something different, try to spice it up a little bit. So admittedly, the pure Monarch variant or whatever is better, but I'm just looking for something that kind of incorporates the Synchron element into it. So those of you that did stick around and actually have some, you know, constructive criticism you'd like to throw down there, I'd much appreciate it. Those of you with your dislikes, feel free to click the button on the right there with the thumb down. In the meantime, though, I will see you next time right here at Loveshack Entertainment. Thanks for watching, and stay beautiful.